Right, good morning, Zimbabwe and the surrounding nation around the world. Once again, we would like to welcome you to Good Morning Zimbabwe. Once again, my name is Kina Strongwata, and thank you so much for you tuning in today. We'd like to welcome and thank all our Facebook followers and YouTube followers. Thank you so much for joining. We know last week we had over 19,000 people who viewed our podcast. So we are just grateful and we thank God for that. Once again, as we are sitting down with the man of God, Prophet Tom Tirivangani, we'd like to welcome him once again to this podcast. So, man of God, with great honor, we welcome you to Good Morning Zimbabwe.
Thank you. It is a privilege and honor to be here today.
Thank you so much, sir. It is an honor to have you week by week as we sit down together with the nation of Zimbabwe to continue to speak what God is saying for times such as this. We know in the last podcast, man of God, you were speaking on the state of prayer and what kind of prayer one need. And we said that we will continue because of the technical difficulties we're having in our recent podcast. So once again, sir, we want to continue about the type of prayer that is needed within the church, within the nation of Zimbabwe. So over to you, sir.
Yes, when we come to the question of prayer, the discipline of prayer, there are remarkable men of God who understood what prayer is. If I look at biblical characters such as Elijah, he understood the concept of prayer. Not only did he understood the concept of prayer, but he understood the power behind prayer made. We see the people like Paul and Silas. Prayer was never offered out of convenience. Prayer was offered as necessity. So at midnight, when Paul and Silas were bruised, battered, and beaten, it was the best time for them to offer prayer because prayer was of a necessity. James, the beloved disciple of Jesus Christ, the apostle, was remarkably accounted as a man who spent countless hours in prayer. His feet or his knees were the knees like that of a camel because he spent most of his time in prayer. What about our master himself, Jesus? He went on the mountain to pray. I hear a lot of strange things from pastors, the mouth of pastors. I hear many people saying, oh, Africa is poor because they spend most of their time praying. Nobody can be poor by spending time talking to God. It's the question of what kind of prayer you are talking to. What you are saying is prayer. Is it prayer? When we look at the documented result of revivals and prayer, significant things happen, not only spiritually, material, in communities that pray. The story of Guatemala, Amalonga in Guatemala, for example, when a revival hit there, it did not just change the spiritual atmosphere in the nation. It did change the material atmosphere in the nation. The land that was barren began to produce. The rate of crime began to go down. So prayer is such immense power. But the question we are asking, what kind of prayer? What kind of prayer? Who is praying? What is the nature of the vessels that are praying? That's where the biggest problem is. We all shy away from the limitations of those who are interceding. We don't realize that, the medium through which the power of God works is as important as the message. Because if the medium is clogged, then it's not be able to release the power that is supposed to release. So prayer is like that. But what kind of prayer? Who is praying? All those things matter. So historically, prayer has shown that it has tremendous power to change the environment, to change everything. But why do pastors stand up on the pulpit and say, if you spend 13 hours praying, you don't have anything to do? Why do they do that? It's because they really don't understand what prayer is. There are men in the Bible who understood what prayer was. Andrew Murray, for example, was an esteemed man of prayer. E.M. Bounds, great man of prayer. People like Spurgeon, Charles Spurgeon, great man of prayer. Jonathan Edwards, great man of prayer. Leonard Ravenhill, of recent, great man of prayer. Everyone who has understood the power of prayer knows prayer is a weapon. The only person the devil fears is a man who has the word of God in their heart and who is a prayerful man. They fear. Prayer can change things dramatically and supernaturally. But it's the vessel that has become corrupted that seeks to offer prayer before God. When we offer prayer before God and we are corrupted and we are polluted, scarcely our prayer can reach heaven. Instead of undermining the efficacy of prayer, people should look at what hinders prayer. Yes, there are many people that are praying in Zimbabwe, but what kind of prayers are they praying? In what form is their life? The Bible says they have a form of godliness that denies the power of God thereof. They say they proclaim God with their lips, yet their life deny the very existence of God. For me, I believe it's the vessel. The vessel is the problem. Until Zimbabwe deals with the question of the vessel that's offering prayer, the prayers in Zimbabwe will rise up and go to the ceiling and come down. Because then the prayers that are being made with profane lips, profane lives. So that prayer is not able to penetrate the strongholds of demonic forces and demonic influence to reach right at the throne of God and summon help. Consider the prayer of Daniel. He prayed 3 times a day, facing towards Jerusalem for 21 days. There was a blockage in his prayer, yet he consistently prayed. And one day, because of the intensity of his prayer and the purity and the holiness of the prayer that was coming from the altar of Daniel, God could not ignore his prayer. He had to send Archangel Michael to go and rescue Angel Gabriel and deliver the message to Daniel. So Zimbabwe needs to deal with the question of vessels. That's where the problem is. That's what's weakening our prayer, to be honest. Ministers of God, we are corrupted sexually. We are corrupted spiritually. We are corrupted financially. We have all forms of corruption that we are facing in our own life. We got to be honest about what's happening to us. We are human beings. We are struggling. And so, therefore, we cannot just pray without being mindful of what kind of prayer we are making in order to make an impact. So that's what I can say.
Yes, thank you so much, man of God. We are hearing what you're saying because I know in the last month you have declared this fasting and prayer. And I know last week you were talking intentively about the pastors and the church being able to detox themselves because, most of the weight is going to fall on the churches because the church, like you said, is the moral voice. The church has to lead the citizens of Zimbabwe. So again, you were saying about that, you are concerned about the ministers, the leaders, about them taking that approach to look within themselves. Because you said one thing in the last podcast, Servant of God, we said that, sometimes we are trying to address the sin of a given nation, but not seeing the sin within ourselves. So I wanted you to elaborate more on that, sir.
Yes, I sincerely believe, and I will be sincere as I can be. Not because I want to project myself as one who is holy. For the first, and probably I'm the first one to admit that I have many faults as a man of God. Faults that I recognize in my own life. But here is what Paul says. He says, what I am saying, not that I have arrived, but I understand what the truth is. The truth is that charity begins at home. When we major in correcting our congregation, correcting members of our church, and we ignore the very rubric of that ministry, the very source of the foundation of that ministry. The Bible says the apostles and the prophets are the foundation of the what? Of the church. And if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? So really, us as pastors, my fellow brothers in the Lord and sisters, what I am encouraging us to do is to do a serious personal introspection. Examine yourself according to 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourself to see if you are in the faith. Test yourself to see if you are disqualified. Don't you realize that Christ is in you? If the stump is holy, then the branches are holy. So I think that the battling must start with the ministers. The ministers of God. That's where the battling must start. Church leadership, the bishops, the archbishop, the apostles, the prophets, those who are the esteemed leaders in the church must begin the process of detoxification and sanctification. And then when they are totally sanctified, they can invite members of their church to walk the road which they already have walked. How can I lead you where I've never been? So that's the question.
All right, thank you so much, man of God, for that input. As we are continuing to discuss the state of Zimbabwe, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. You're watching Good Morning Zimbabwe.
Good Morning Zimbabwe is a program sponsored by Christ's Voice of Restoration Ministries International. Good morning to all our online viewers today. Thank you for joining us. We would like you to partner with us as we continue to make a positive impact in many lives and communities locally and globally. Become a partner to help support the ministry. For more info, and if you would like to partner with us, visit cvrministries.org or scan the code in the corner on your screen. May God bless you as you continue to watch today's service online.
Once again, welcome back to Good Morning Zimbabwe, and thank you so much for taking that quick break. As you're watching our video, we are just encouraging each one of you as you continue to watch. In order for us to reach the 1 million people around the world, we need your support. So make sure that you become a partner with the Good Morning Zimbabwe podcast. And this is also, is sponsored by Voice of Restoration TV and Christ Voice of Restoration Ministry, which is a ministry that helps many outreach, where it helps to support a lot of orphans and widows around the world. So you can partner with us and be a part of that. As we are continuing with the man of God, Prophet Tom, and we continue to talk about prayer and what kind of prayer. The man of God also touched last week about, because you might have this question, what now are the hindrances of prayer? He has talked about the church. He talked about the pastor detoxing himself and how we need to do that. So man of God, you spoke last week about the hindrance to prayer. You talked about pride and many things that one should look to identify with to know that this thing must be removed.
Yeah, so there are many things that we have to be aware of, many things that affect prayer. When we are praying, what are the things that affect prayer? The biggest hindrance to prayer is the spirit of pride. It is the first sin that was committed in the Bible that made the morning star angel Lucifer, as we see him, the devil, the archenemy of God. It was a result of pride. He says, I will be like God. And what we see in today's church, sadly, the 21st century church, is we see a lot of pride projected on the pulpit. Many of us pastors, I'm not spared among those that we are talking about. I don't seem to exclude myself. We are including ourselves together, that pride seems to have hijacked the pulpit. And therefore, the prayer meetings. The more people a pastor can gather, the more pride, the more self-projection, the more the wicked motivation. If a pastor is being used by God, the more pride that we see. It should be the corresponding the corresponding difference, which is that the more God uses you, the more humility we must see. So pride, many pastors have spirit of unforgiveness. They have been wounded in their churches by members of their congregation. They have suffered a lot of attack. They have been abused by many members of their church. I see that one of the biggest problems in the 21st century church is that anybody who is criticizing, they tend to criticize the pastor. They don't know what the pastor is going through. As a result, many pastors are bitter, bruised, and broken. And they are not willing to admit it on the pulpit that I've been abused, I've been bruised. They try to become strong for their congregation. But while they are being strong for their congregation, they have too much. They have gone through too much. So they are bitter. And their bitterness, they have offense, they are offended. Because much of their work is not really rewarded in the right way. If a pastor make one simple mistake like this, it's magnified, as if he has made mistake of their life. Nobody really objectively look at how much suffering the pastors go through, how much their families go through, how much sleepless night they have. They wake up in the morning, but how many telephone calls have come throughout the night? When people are crying for this, for that, they go to hospitals, and many people don't know. But if a pastor make one mistake, it's blown out of proportion. People talk, they accuse, they slander, they do all things. Even supposedly the members of the congregation, the pastor can be supporting them. When he makes one mistake, they blow it out of proportion. So pastors are wounded. And most of our pastors who are praying, they are totally wounded. And they do not have anybody who advocate for them. Okay, many people are advocating for the congregation. What the congregation are doing. Many of the pastors, they stand up and lambast and attack their own fellow pastors for the very same thing that they are going through. Not that we must address those things, but many pastors are wounded. And so their prayer is corrupted and polluted by their wounds that they are going through. So that hinders prayer. Offense and forgiveness. Unforgiveness. A pastor's children, they go through a lot of suffering. I know my wife was talking to me because she grew up as a pastor's daughter. She says, every time when visitors come, I'm asked to move out of my bedroom to accommodate the visitor. But when the visitor come and the children of the pastor leave their bedrooms to accommodate the visitors, the visitors are not sensitive to what's happening in the pastor's home. I was talking to my son recently, and he was talking to me. Say, Dad, let me talk to you. What I have gone through as a pastor's kid. The moments when you asked me to leave my bedroom and offer to the people a place for them to stay. And after that, how they attacked you. How they attacked our family when I realized that I had suffered for them to be comfortable. How they don't appreciate what you are doing. So all those things unless a pastor is really spiritually mature and they have gone and can manage those things, their prayers tend to be very, very, very corrupted by what they are going through. So what happens? There is a serious fight to remodel the pastors, to remodel their hearts, to regenerate them for whatever they have happened, to take a fresh burden for countries like Zimbabwe. I can tell you. I have my spiritual father, a great man of God. I mean, you see young pastors standing up, attacking a great man of God who have produced millions of believers, led many to Christ. And this young pastor who just have social media is attacking without end. You really have to have God in order for your prayer to be totally sanctified. So there's a struggle, a serious struggle that must be acknowledged within the body of Christ that can affect the efficacy in the power of prayer. So those are some of the things that are happening. If you add also a problem of wounded believers in the church, they are wounded either by their shepherds, they are wounded either by their husbands at home, they are abused at home. Why are you in the church? Where are you going? What's happening? You must have an affair with your pastor. That's why you are in the church. All kinds of things. And at the end of the day, the believer simply says, look, I'm trying the best that I can to serve God. So really there's a lot that's happening in the body of Christ. A lot of pain, a lot of suffering. Zimbabwe is not an exception. So we have to deal with those things in order for the pastors and anyone who is wounded in the church to let go, so that they can then offer prayer that's not corrupted or polluted or adulterated.
Yes, thank you so much, man of God. I believe, thank you, we are hearing you. And what I'm understanding is that the church, before the church can be that moral voice, it needs to heal. The pastors, they need to heal because everyone is going through something. So with that being said, man of God, what will be your final take for today to the viewers as they're watching you?
I want to encourage my fellow pastors. It's not weakness to acknowledge what you are going through. You don't become a bad pastor acknowledging that I have been wounded. I have been offended by the congregation, that I am crying, I need healing. Because before I can heal, I need to be healed. Before I can reconcile, I need to be reconciled. Before I can be strong, I need to be strengthened. In order for me to be strong, many of us pastors, we avoid talking about what we are going through. And what we are going through with our congregation, with the social media, the proliferation of social media, the attacks that we are going through. Some of us, we have never staged miracles, yet you hear people accusing you, you have staged miracles, you have done this. Some of us, we have done remarkable work. That's unbelievable. Yet, what people try to do is to project the negative. So pastors must not shy away from whatever they are going through. They must be open. They are human. Before they are pastors, they are human beings. Before I am a man of God, I am a man. You see, before I am a father to many, I am a father to my own children. Before I am a counselor to many, I have a family. So I need to acknowledge that things are happening in my neighborhood. That's why Paul says, pray for me. Pastors must cry that their congregation must pray for them. Because a wounded pastor will not be able to restore a broken sheep. He needs to be healed himself. So I am encouraging pastors as we are going through this process of praying for the nation of Zimbabwe. We are saying be candid. We are also offering prayers to our pastors, to our intercessors who are praying. Whatever they are going through, they need support so that they may be able to stand strong and support the church. You see, people like Elijah were saying to God, kill me. Moses says, the burden is too heavy for me. Just kill me because I cannot do this by myself. It's too heavy. That's why God then says, look, I have raised Aaron and you to raise up your hands to support you in your battle. He said to Moses, choose 70 elders who are known to be officials of the people. Let them bear the burden together with you. There is no super pastor, no matter how anointed I am, no matter how powerful I am a human being and I need support. And it's not weakness to say, please pray for me. Please pray for my family. Pray, this is what I'm going through. In fact, that's the best way pastors must approach what they are going through if they are going to make an effective prayer for the nation of Zimbabwe. So that's what I can say.
Thank you so much, man of God, for that time, for you being here with us. I think we're learning a lot in the nation of Zimbabwe. I hope we are learning a lot, like the man of God is saying. Pastors are human beings, and everybody make mistakes, but for us to magnify a mistake and not look at the great work that they're doing, it calls for concern. So with that being said, I think the man of God will continue next week and continue to elaborate on that, but be reminded that there is a corporate prayer that is going on on the international prayer line, where the man of God is saying that every Friday where we are fasting for the nation of Zimbabwe, and then 6:00, I believe that is when you can join the international prayer line. I think we can put the information on the screen how you can also participate with that. But keep in mind what the prophet is saying. It is not just praying, but check the kind of prayer that you're praying. With that being said, we have come to end to today's podcast, and this is Good Morning Zimbabwe, and we will see you next week, next Sunday at 4 p.m. Thank you so much, and God bless you.